It's 2 in the morning. Your dog has a perfectly good, expensive bed of their own in the corner of the room, and yet, here they are, circling your mattress, settling against your leg, and taking up exactly 80% of the space while leaving you the rest. Most owners assume this nightly ritual is simply about warmth, habit, or perhaps a little bit of clinginess. But if we look closer at behavioral neuroscience, we find a completely different story. What your dog is doing right now, every single night, is one of the most complex expressions of trust, attachment, and evolutionary biology that exists between two species on this planet. Let's start by looking at the warmth theory, because it sounds so reasonable. Dogs get cold. You are a large, warm-blooded mammal. It seems like a simple calculation. But here's the problem with that explanation. Your dog has access to sunny spots during the day, radiators, the couch, and probably a pile of your laundry on the floor. If warmth were the only goal, they have plenty of options that don't involve competing with you for a pillow. They keep choosing you because sleep is the most vulnerable state any animal can ever be in. Every instinct in your dog's brain, instincts inherited from thousands of years of predator-prey dynamics, screams at them to find somewhere hidden and safe when they are unconscious. Instead, they walk past every quiet corner in your home and climb next to a human 15 times their size. This isn't just about temperature, it's about safety. Researchers at Eötvös Loránd University in Budapest adapted the same attachment test psychologists use to study human infants, known as Ainsworth's strange situation procedure, and applied it to dogs. The results were groundbreaking. Dogs form attachment bonds with their owners that are functionally identical to the bond an infant forms with its mother. This includes the same proximity seeking, the same distress when separated, and the same immediate calm when reunited. In these tests, 61% of dogs were classified as securely attached, which is almost exactly the same proportion found in human toddlers. When your dog chooses to sleep beside you, they are performing the single most fundamental behavior in attachment psychology, seeking closeness to their safe person at the moment of their greatest vulnerability. They aren't being clingy in the way we usually use that word. They are telling you that you are the safest thing in their entire world. But to understand why this happens, we have to look deeper than just psychology. We have to look at the chemistry. In 2015, a team of researchers at Azabu University in Japan published a study in the journal Science. They measured oxytocin levels in 30 dog owner pairs during their interactions. Oxytocin is the neurochemical your brain releases when you feel deeply bonded to someone. It's the same molecule that floods a mother's brain when she holds her newborn for the first time. What they found was extraordinary. When a dog gazes at their owner and the owner gazes back, both of them experience a simultaneous surge in oxytocin across species. The dog's oxytocin goes up, the owner's oxytocin goes up, which makes the dog want to gaze more, which releases even more oxytocin. It is a self-reinforcing neurochemical loop that no other species on Earth shares with humans. They even tested this with wolves raised by humans, and the loop simply didn't activate. This isn't a general mammal thing. It co-evolved specifically between dogs and humans over thousands of years of living together. Physical contact amplifies this effect even further. Researchers found that just 10 minutes of petting your dog produces measurable drops in cortisol, the stress hormone, in both of you. Now think about the impact of 8 hours of sleeping pressed together. It is essentially an 8-hour chemical handshake that recalibrates both of your nervous systems. This raises a question almost nobody thinks to ask. When did dogs and humans start sleeping next to each other? The answer is that we have been doing this basically from the beginning. Dogs are the only animal domesticated before agriculture, before farming, before cities, and even before writing. Roughly 15,000 years ago, wolves began approaching human camps, drawn by food scraps and the warmth of fires. The friendliest wolves, the ones least likely to flee, survived better and passed on those traits. Generations later, they weren't wolves anymore. In Germany, archaeologists discovered a burial site dated to 14,000 years ago, containing 2 humans interred with 2 dogs beside them. But the detail that changes everything is that one of the dogs had survived severe canine distemper, a disease that kills within 3 weeks without intensive care, for over 5 weeks. This means someone 14,000 years ago had nursed that dog through its illness. Even then, these weren't just working animals, they were family. Geneticists have since discovered that domestic dogs carry unique genetic insertions in a region of chromosome 6 associated with extreme friendliness and human-directed contact seeking. In humans, the deletion of these same genes causes Williams-Buren syndrome, characterized by a compulsive drive to connect with others. Wolves don't have these variants. Dogs were literally shaped at a genetic level to want to be near us, to sleep near us, and to bond with us. Your dog isn't doing something unusual when they climb into your bed. They are fulfilling a biological drive that has been selected for across 15,000 years. There's also a fascinating study from the Mayo Clinic that measured the sleep quality of 40 adults and their dogs over 7 nights with clinical-grade sleep trackers. Objectively, the data showed that dogs disrupted human sleep. Every movement, every 3 a.m. stretch that takes out your ankle made the sleep data look worse. And yet, almost every single participant reported feeling more comfortable, more secure, and more rested when their dog was in the room. How is that possible? A researcher at Canisius College surveyed nearly 900 women and found that dogs were rated as less disruptive than human bed partners and more comforting overall. Motion trackers showed that while owners were waking up briefly every time the dog moved, they almost never remembered it in the morning. The felt experience of safety was simply stronger than the physical disruption. This gets to a deep truth. The psychological benefit of sleeping beside a trusted companion might be more important to restorative sleep than uninterrupted darkness and silence. We spent most of human history sleeping in groups. The isolated, solo bedroom is a modern exception, not the rule. Maybe your dog isn't ruining your sleep. Maybe they are restoring something more ancient than modern sleep hygiene. This connection goes even deeper than just comfort. It's about synchronization. A 2024 study from the University of Jyväskylä in Finland monitored the heart rate variability of 30 dog owner pairs. HRV is one of the best measures of how your autonomic nervous system is functioning. High HRV means you're relaxed and regulated. Low HRV means your stress response is activated. What they found was that during rest, dogs and their owners showed correlated HRV patterns. Their nervous systems were in sync. When the owner was calm, the dog was calm. When the owner was stressed, the dog's autonomic state shifted to match. This synchronization was strongest during rest and didn't happen at all with unfamiliar humans. This means sleeping beside your dog isn't just a psychological comfort, it's a neurological event. It's 2 separate nervous systems from 2 different species co-regulating each other through the night. Researchers at the University of Milan have also studied a behavior called referential looking. When a dog encounters something unfamiliar, they look back at their owner to see how to react. They use you as a live source of information about the world. To do this, they need to maintain continuous visual or physical access to you. This is why they follow you from room to room. It's not clinginess, but a navigation strategy researchers call the secure base effect. By sleeping with you, they are maintaining that connection during the most uncertain time of the day, the night. They aren't waiting because they're fragile. They are waiting because with you there, the rest of the world feels navigable. It's about maintaining the consultation available for when something comes up. However, there is one last thing we need to discuss, and it might be the most important part of this entire conversation. If your dog has been sleeping beside you for months or years, and one day they suddenly stop, don't brush it off. Dogs are creatures of habit. When a deeply established behavior disappears overnight, there is always a reason. Sometimes it's environmental, a new person in the house, or a shift in your schedule that makes them feel the territory has changed. But sometimes it's physical. Veterinary researchers have found that changes in sleep location are often one of the earliest behavioral signs of pain, appearing long before limping or stiffness. A dog who stops jumping onto the bed might not have changed their mind. They might simply be hurting. In older dogs, disrupted sleep patterns can be a hallmark symptom of canine cognitive dysfunction, which is the dog equivalent of dementia. It affects an estimated 35% of dogs over 8 years old.
Because your dog doesn't have language, their behavior is the only way they can tell you something is wrong. If the nightly ritual changes, pay attention. So, next time you wake up at 3 a.m. with exactly 6 inches of mattress and 80 pounds of dog pressed against your legs, remember what is actually happening. Your dog chose you. They didn't choose the couch, the floor, or the warm patch by the radiator. They chose you because 15,000 years of evolution, a neurochemical loop that no other species shares with us, and an attachment system built to mirror the bond between parent and child all point to one thing. Sleeping beside you is the safest place in their world. And the science suggests it's doing something profound for you too. We are creatures that evolved to be in groups, and having that warm, breathing presence, a nervous system that has calibrated itself to yours, is a biological
Just
gift.
taking up
Your dog
space, they are offering you a level of trust that is written into their very DNA. The bond behind all of this is ancient. It's a relationship built on mutual gaze, shared oxytocin, and the simple, quiet act of being present. Whether it's through referential looking to see if you're okay with a new guest, or nose work on a walk where they lead the way to boost their own optimism, every interaction is a thread in this larger tapestry of connection. If this has changed how you see that space hogger at the foot of your bed, I'd love to hear your story. Where does your dog sleep tonight? And if you want to understand why your dog stares at you with those eyes, as if they are reading your very soul, that is exactly what we'll be exploring in our next video. Understanding the science doesn't make the bond any less magical. If anything, it makes it more so. It reminds us that our dogs aren't just pets, they are biological companions whose histories and hearts are inextricably linked with our own. Thank you for being part of this journey into the mindful world of our paws. I'll see you in the next one.